What's going on, guys? I know it's been a little bit since I've done a video here. Just been super busy between work, and I just did my entry-level driver training for my CDL Class A license, which kind of what I wanted to go over in this video. It's a good career, you know, if you're wanting to get a higher paying career job going, and you know, you like being on the road and driving semis and all that. The course went over a lot of different things, and I still got to do the behind the wheel course and parallel parking, alley dock, turns, you know, left, right turns, railroads. You always want to stop at railroads, and even if you don't see a train and all that. And obviously, you know, uphill, downhill, different weather conditions. It all depends and varies on things, but as well as driving a non-synchronized engine or transmission, I should say. So with a manual car, those are synchronized engines, right? So with a semi, you have to have it in the right RPM band. That's why if you're going downhill and you don't shift correctly, you could, you know, have a runaway truck where your air brakes aren't working. You can't downshift to slow the vehicle. Most vehicles, I mean, I know some people still like driving manuals. That's cool. Most of them are automatics, I read, these days. You know, they more dominate the industry because, you know, better on fuel, less driver fatigue, and less maintenance. So, and I don't know. I guess it depends on the carrier, the company you're working for, and all that. But I believe, I got my tablet here, as of February 7th of 2022, it says here, if you Google it, the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration requires that anyone seeking to obtain a commercial driver's license for the first time or is upgrading their existing CDL, so if you have a CDL Class B or C, whatever, you have to take the ELDT, which is the entry-level driver training. So if you guys want to look that up, you can. You know, there's different sites you can take it through. There, it even goes, there's a link right here to the actual Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. Obviously, there's too much to go over in one video, and there's so many other videos that will tell you. I'm just telling you about my personal experience with it, but depending on what aspect, what you're looking up, they had quizzes at each section. Each section would have like anywhere from 1 to 5, or actually like 1 to 8 lessons, I believe. Quizzes were 10 questions, and some were true or false. I think some were multiple choice. Don't quite remember actually, but I got 97% on the course. They say it's a 40-hour course. I think I finished it quicker than that, but they do have some videos to watch that, you know, YouTube, that it'll link you straight from the website to there. And I should have logged in to give myself a refresher here, but again, they go over obviously maintaining the vehicle, shifting, putting on like snow chains on your tires if it's snowing. So watched a video or two on how to do that, coupling and uncoupling your trailer, lowering and raising the landing gear, making sure that the truck's secure if you're at a truck stop or whatever, keeping your truck clean, cooperating with, you know, if you're at a weigh station or an inspection station, and the you know, cop or whatever is doing they have 8 different classes of inspections. Class 1 inspects the vehicle and the driver. They'll give you like a very short interview, you know, check out your medical card, your CDL license, all that stuff. They'll check your logbook as well, and it depends on the various. That one takes 45 minutes to an hour, but it depends on the various actual inspections. One of them only applies to like buses, which you need a CDL Class A, I believe, to drive those as well. City buses and school buses. So this one's mainly, obviously, mostly focused on semis. And the newest one, that number 8, was like, it's not fully implemented everywhere, but it's where you can transfer your vehicle info electronically, so they don't really have to stop and then do that all manually and whatever. But yeah, again, I'm kind of new to this. It's an entry-level driver training course, but I got an A, 97%. Some of the quizzes you can always go back and retake. It'll tell you which ones you got wrong. It'll give you the correct answer, and then you can always retake it. So that's what I did for a lot of them. Yeah, most of them I got 100 or 90. 9 or 10 out of 10. So, what else? You got the trailer coupling and uncoupling. Make sure it's the trailer jaws are locked. Don't damage the trailer or the truck. Kingpin, make sure it's secured. The blue and red lines to your air brakes. The red ones for emergencies. Blue goes to blue, red goes to red, and then obviously connect your trailer lights as well. So you have your turn signals, your brake lights, your tail lights, your hazards, all that good stuff. Your running lights, and then whenever you're at a truck stop, just clean out your truck. You don't want it to look like a pigsty. Yeah, it gets dirty over time, but just every time you stop or whenever you can, clean it out. And some trucks, I don't know how many, I didn't really say it, but obviously if you're over the road, you're going to have sleeping quarters in the back. Also the logbook. You document your driving, and the video can explain this better than I can here, but I kind of get the gist of it, where you can drive up to 10 hours a day. After 8 hours you have to take a 30-minute rest break or meal break, whatever. You can drive, I believe it said 60 hours in a 7-day period and 70 hours in an 8-day period. So when that 9th day, it'll drop off. And so don't go, because that can be some serious fines. I saw a lot, pretty high numbers for the fines. So definitely something to keep an eye out for. And you can work as many hours as you want non-driving, like loading, I guess, the trailer and stuff like that, and whatever else. But as far as driving, being on the road due to driver fatigue and stuff, you got to be careful with that. I do have, I can log in here and literally, the website I took it on was called prodriveru.com. But I don't know, I'm sure other places offer it as well. So let me just log in here and we'll go over maybe each section. I don't know how long this video is going on, for 8 minutes here, but here we go. Course complete, right? So click on it, and we got basic operations. So you go through the orientation, control systems and dashboards, basic controls, shifting and operating transmissions, pre and post trip inspections. Those are important. If you have a tarp on the back of your vehicle, you want to check it every 150 miles, depending on the load. Also getting your passenger endorsement, which I thought passenger endorsement was let's say your girlfriend or your wife or whoever can ride with you. No, you can have anyone ride with you whenever, well, depending on the company, but passenger endorsement is for a city bus. I believe if it's over 15 passengers, then you have to have that. So I don't think I should have to worry about that with the semi. I mean, if I get it, cool. Hazmat though, and tanker, those are, and double and triple coupling trailers. So hazmat, they go over if you're carrying radioactive stuff, flammables, hazardous materials. I remember that one thing that was on the news where this truck driver crashed, and it was people in the area had to evacuate because it was a toxic chemical that got released. And then tanker will be if you're hauling fuel and stuff like that. Backing and docking, a lot of accidents happen backing up. So, and again, you get very proficient at this. This just takes time, repetition, and practice. It's just start, right? Just you're gonna make mistakes. There's no mistake you can make that hasn't already been made by another trucker. Just refine your focus, refine your approach, learn from mistakes, and that's called gaining wisdom, experience, knowledge, all that good stuff. Backing and docking, coupling and uncoupling, and then the next section is safe operating procedures. So you got visual search, scanning ahead of you and the sides, checking your mirrors, not getting fixated on an object for too long, all that stuff. Looking out for vehicles that are pulled over, looking out for construction, merging, lights, trains, all the above. Communications on the road, distracted driving, when I worked for Amazon, they had cameras. So obviously don't be on your cell phone. You can have like a hands-free device, but like even people were getting in trouble with Amazon where like they didn't want to put on their seatbelt on and off for like 200, 300 deliveries a day, whatever. So they would just clip it in and sit on top of it, and you get in trouble for that. Let's see, distracted driving, speed management. So you don't want to speed. I think if it's like over 10 or 15, you can get your license suspended. So space management, not tailgating and leaving enough space and all that good stuff. Night driving, because that has added difficulties as far as like making it harder to see up front. Don't overdrive your headlights, where you want to be able to stop before the lights. Like let's say, I believe it said like 250 feet for low beams and 500 feet for high beams. But obviously you can't really have your high beams on all the time, especially if there's cars around or there's other cars coming towards you on the other side. But 250 feet, you want to be able to driving at a speed where you can stop before that, in case there's something in the road or whatever. And they also have those reflective triangles you can put out. I think there's 3 of them, and depending on, you want the furthest one like 500 feet back, depending on, especially if there's a curve, so oncoming drivers or the ones that are following you, like if they can't really see that you're pulled over because it's, there's a blind curve. Extreme driving conditions, so snow, sleet, hail, rain, extreme heat even, stuff like that. Then they go over advanced operating practices. You got hazard perception, skid control, recovery and emergencies, and then railroad crossings. You want to stop and make sure that there's no train coming and that you can proceed all the way through without stopping on the tracks. Make sure, they even said on the course, some tracks, some areas, crossings aren't built the best, so you don't want to get stuck, right? And if you do get stuck, walk towards the train, like there's the tracks, at like a 45-degree angle. So if the train hits your truck, first of all, you're not in it. Second of all, when it does hit and all that debris goes that way, it's going away from you, right? It's not because you're walking at a 45-degree angle, like towards the train, and then there's the truck. So like, what else? We got page 2. There's 2 pages here. Vehicle systems, identification and diagnosis of malfunction. So you don't have to be a mechanic, but you need to check your brakes, your tires. Brakes are a big one, obviously. Tires too. All your fluids, power steering fluid, coolant, oil, brake fluid. Well, they use air brakes, but you get the idea. Make sure there's no leaks, stuff like that. Roadside inspections, don't make their job difficult. They won't make your job difficult. They're just a professional. It's not, if you don't have any, if the truck doesn't have any violations, you'll get like a sticker that's good for 3 months on your windshield that says that. So you probably won't get an inspection for that amount of time. Depends on the carrier. If it's a carrier that has a lot of issues, then they might start pulling over more trucks just to inspect at an inspection station. They'll stop them. If you have minor violations, you can usually proceed. If it's a major violation, then they'll ground the truck until it's fixed. So, and I don't think you can drive another CDL truck for like 10 hours after that, or whatever it said. So, yeah. Also, back with the logbook thing, which I was getting to this as well. I think it was like after 60, 70 hours, whatever, and those hours drop off, you take like a, what did it say, like a 34-hour break? Is it that long? Or something like that. Again, look it up. It goes over it. Again, I am still memorizing and all this stuff, but did pretty well. Handling cargo, maintenance, making sure cargo's strapped in. There's a strap every 10 feet, and there's at least 2 straps that are holding the load down, no matter what even if it's a smaller load. Hours of service requirements is on here, like I was talking about. Environmental compliance, not idling. Some states actually have a law against excessive idling. So they do have like auxiliary power units, so you can still run your AC and your electricity without having to run the engine and waste fuel and all that stuff. So, and I believe depending on the truck, I read some trucks can go up to like 2,000 miles. They hold a lot of fuel, obviously, but that's, but again, it's good to plan out your route. So, and just because a route is the shortest doesn't mean it's the best. If there's a lot of stop and go traffic through a city or whatever, then sometimes it's better to take the slightly longer route through the highways and interstates or whatever, where there's less traffic, because it'll actually be more fuel efficient. We got fatigue and wellness awareness, post-crash procedures, whistleblower policy, trip planning, like I was talking about, external communications, and then of course you got your drug and alcohol. Obviously common sense stuff. They go over that any job really, where obviously don't drink, don't take drugs on the job. I believe it's like you can't drink like up to 4 hours before your shift or whatever it is. And of course they can have random drug tests. They'll have drug tests after any accidents, or most accidents. I think it depends. And then pre-employment stuff. Medical requirements. You'll have to get physical and all that. And then human trafficking is on here as well. So, and then that was the last section here, and then that's it. So, I am at 100%. But I don't want this video to go on too long. It kind of is already. But I just wanted to let you guys know what's going on, give you guys a bit of an update. And here is my certificate. Pretty cool. So, yeah, good stuff. I'm excited. And obviously there's other careers, and just you get your CDL Class A. You don't even have to be a trucker. There's I personally wouldn't really want to be a city bus driver, but you could be like, you do that, be a garbage truck driver, school bus driver. Of course, you have to do more certifications afterwards, and criminal background check, and all that stuff. And then whatever other vehicles require a Class A. There's also Class B as well, but I decided to go straight for Class A, right? So, yeah, I'm going to wrap up this video here. I will let you guys know how things are going, give you guys some more updates. Thank you guys for watching. Van life is going well. The girlfriend's at work right now. She's pulling like 11-hour days, so she's enjoying her job. I'm going to get in a workout here, and got work tomorrow. So, yeah, other than that, I do have Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, and Zelle all in the description box below. If you guys would like to donate to the channel, I'd really appreciate it. Hopefully we'll be doing some more videos on the road, not just in the van, but in a potential, semi-truck as well later on down the road. I watched a video where it says you're with a trainer for the first 8 to 12 weeks. So I don't know if it's that long or not or whatever. That's what it said. But you guys can do research as well. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. As always, keep on trucking.